Hey guys, this is One Up Indie, starting with my first introduction into the series of remaking Hotline Miami. This is the game which you're actually seeing in front of you, and this will be a no coding introduction into the game. So for example, if you want to skip on that, hey, no problem from my side, because here I actually want to show you a little bit about the game, so the history, and for example we will go and have an outside look, for example how a regular gamer would see the game, and of course how a developer will see the game, because again, developer then thinks in systems, what is actually going on here and what kind of systems we need to build to recreate this one. So here I will just go over a few concepts and then you will understand where we go from here, because I don't want to start with instantly some coding, because this is of course very beneficial for most of you guys, but I think outside look is beneficial also, because hey, we need to analyze a few systems before we just jump right into it and just try to code without seeing the big picture as such. So this is the start screen, and I must say, if you would be listening to the music, of course I cannot show, sorry for that. This is a part about YouTube. If they hear some stuff which is copyrighted, then they're gonna strike me down instantly, and then well, the video would get deleted into the heavens and then it's gone, and this is what I try to avoid. So the first thing which you're seeing here, it looks very psychedelic, very hypnotic even though, and of course the music does an excellent job. So here they got some awards for that. So this is tons of cyberpunk music, by the way, and of course 80s 90s inspired music also. So here a very good music, so only for that this game is definitely worth it. And then of course what you're seeing in front of you is kind of a wiggling effect, which is easy to copy, so this is not an issue. For example, this how they kind of stretch the, for example, the start game from left to right. This I'm gonna go look into how we can actually reproduce, but of course the background we already did this, so I guess the video before this one, so we're gonna do this also. So my first video tutorial will be basically kind of recreating the first screen which you're seeing right now, because it is extremely atmospheric, and therefore hey, let's redo this, because this is not too difficult in my opinion. This is kind of we can actually do this in one video. So let's start it, and for example what you see is then the first tutorial. So basically this is the first level, which is just introducing you into kind of not the storyline but the controls, and well, what you're seeing here is the first cutscene, which a wiggling head, very easy to reproduce, and of course here the background which is changing colors. We already did this, so hey, easy peasy stuff. And of course hey, how you can actually make this font which you're seeing on the screen isn't too difficult also. So here we can actually improve on that willy-nilly with no issues. So the first thing which you see, for example, as a player, everything is dark, and you got those two other guys which kind of look similar. Like you have a, I don't know, I guess it's a big nose or whatever that is. What you're seeing as a player is 2 points of interest, and the guy just said to you like, hey, well, kick one or destroy him, and boom, you're getting some points. So it basically just introduces you into how this thing is going. Now, for example, as a developer, you see, all right, so here first of all we have a light system, which everything is dark, only a kind of light around the player is, well, making things light up. And of course here you see an extra light which has a reddish overlay, or for example this room is just reddish and then it's just brightening it up, and I guess this is just a red room, therefore we can do this. And of course you can see now we have equipped a weapon, so this is what the player would be seeing, and then if we press the left button we do a swing. So here we have 2 states, left swing, right swing. Okay, so this shouldn't be too difficult. Then he's explaining blah 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 blah. You can actually pick up weapons, and this feels for most players intuitive, and therefore this is of no issue. And then one little thing which is kind of interesting, you have your guy which is rotating with the camera, but you can actually lock on to an area which is kind of outside your view, so you can actually peek into areas which we normally couldn't be seeing, and therefore this is getting then a little bit more strategic. And as you can see here, blue, red and greenish yellowish area, and I guess those things are just basically well, a greenish, a bluish and a reddish area, but of course it is getting lighting up by extra light here, not just from the player but from these places, which is then static, and therefore we can actually reproduce that easily. And for example, one other thing which we can do, we can actually press our button, which is the middle mouse button, and therefore we have then kind of a lock on effect for the camera, which is kind of a neat thing. Of course, the camera isn't locking onto it, only our cursor. So for example, here we can unlock it also. So here, kind of interesting. And for example, then we have an aim. So this is kind of interesting for the way this game is being played later. So here, once again, we finished the first in-game tutorial. So now we know how the controls are, and then we are jumped or getting kicked right into the first cutscene, which is weird. I must say this is kind of genius how they pulled it off, because once again, first of all, you're just doing a regular tutorial. Okay, you're just killing, you're just getting shot at. Not too special, not too bad. Of course, it is functional, but here this is just about some identity crisis which you're having, and then you're talking to a guy with a horse face, then a guy with a chicken face. Chicken is always good. And then you're talking with some what are you, owl face, and then of course the colors are changing. So pretty easy to actually to pull off, but cinematically very interesting and distinct, because hey, first of all, what the player is seeing is like these kind of weird characters talking to you, but of course as a developer you see, alright, you have 3 points of focus with different kind of lights, so they kind of represent something. Probably, I don't know, I didn't play the game too much. And then they switch from colors, which are bound of course to the specific guy which is talking to. So the horse, the chicken, which is then yellow for example, and then I don't know, something else. And then I guess you're beamed to a past scene, and then this is how the story unfolds. So here a little bit of a background. This game was made by Danaton Games, so these are two dudes from Sweden, and they released their game in 2012, I guess, on Steam. So this was their first release, and they kind of made this a cult classic because tons of people actually love how the game has been played out. And I assume the thing why it got so popular is first of all the style, which is reminiscent of good old games, but they kind of remixed it into a new formula, because this is a very hectic and difficult game, because you need to stay alive, because everything is killing you instantly in one hit, and then you have to repeat the portion of the level, which is creating extreme tension. Of course, this could be frustrating because there is no difficulty setting, so you can be good and enjoy the game, or you can be bad and then well, you don't get to where you want to, and this game could become extremely frustrating. So here, kind of hit and miss in my opinion. And here, one little thing, for example, which you're seeing as a developer, you see, so the camera is actually having a center point, which is kind of here in the middle, so somewhere here. And then if we go from the center point to the left, the whole scene is shifting to the left, which we can actually do. So basically this is just a camera rotation. Then we can, boom, rotate it to the right here. And then I guess there is a max angle of rotation which it will go. So this is one of those little things which is giving the game a little bit more well, of a dynamic thing. as it seems. And for example, what you saw in front of you was a transition. So basically the thing faded into black and boom, then it faded out of the black, and then we are in the second one. So basically we had a room transition, so from one level to the other one, which is for here, it seems to be like one unit, but it is not, as it seems we are being loaded into the second level, and then hey, we start off into the world. And one of the interesting things is, for example, why these things are happening. For example, here you got some an eye for an eye secret. I don't know, I just take the chicken because chicken looks fun. I guess the masks are giving you different replay options, because I guess you get some buffs or debuffs or whatever. Don't ask me about it, I didn't play too much to actually know. And you have this car, and the story behind it, that these guys were inspired by neo-noir movies, and one of them was Drive. So if you haven't heard about it, it's kind of old, and it's supposed to be pretty decent, so I didn't watch it, so I cannot tell. And then a documentary which was called Cocaine Cowboys, and here they got inspired by those, and therefore you see tons of old school stuff, which is tons of sex, violence, and more violence. So basically this game is very graphic in a sense, even though this is just pixel art, but still it looks kind of a little bit cute, but still you're doing pretty horrific things, so I'm not sure if this is appropriate for children as such. And what you're seeing, for example, as the player is, okay, so basically if you get in quotations done with one of the enemies, first of all he looks kind of goofy lying on the screen, and then you have kind of a rubble system or a decal system, or basically a system which is drawing stuff on the screen. And this is, once again, this is just a surface, and then you draw on that, and then this stuff sticks around. So this is one of the systems which we gonna do. And here, goofy humor, and bam, you are dead as it seems. And press R to restart. As you can see, this game is kind of difficult as such. No, are you still around? Come on, boom. And so therefore this is creating tons of tension, because you have to react very fast to your environment. And here, as you can see, we are on the second portion, and for example, if some of those guys with their extremely hard reflexes, so the enemy AI is ruthless and brutal in this game, as you can see, boom, now we are restarting from this portion. So this is a pretty good mix in how you can actually make the difficulty happen. Why is that? Well, let's say you have a level which you need to finish, and then you take, let's say, about 10 minutes, and then something kills you. If it's fair or not fair is not of the question, but for example, you just get killed, and then you have to repeat the whole level, which is super annoying, frustrating, and you are actively wasting the time of the player. And therefore the levels are kind of small, tactical, as you see, so basically not too much going on. So we have, I guess this is our target, then two guys defending him. Here one is statically watching downwards, one is going on a patrol, which is, I guess, predefined, and then the other one is doing a predefined patrol also. So here everything has a static way, and of course once they spot you, then what is happening, they drop out of their regular AI, and as you can see, they are extremely fast. So here you need to wrestle a little bit with the controls also. So this is one of the complaints which I saw on Metacritic. So boom, this game could be, in this kind of regard, kind of challenging, because your reflexes need to be extremely decent. Of course, what you can do is try out different kind of modes, because let's say you can go with a stealth approach, but of course you can try different ones. So here, boom, and then as you can see here, you need to figure out how to do the game, because this game is try and error. So the good old video games which did this also were kind of reliant on that. You need to replay so on and so on. At some point you were starting to get good at that. Yeah, so here once again I'm not the best player in this regard, so let's go into some interesting details. So what you, for example, as the player can do, you can throw a weapon, but this will just knock them over but not get them done. And then, for example, you kind of have a hovering effect of all the things, so of the weapons. So basically they have a shadow, and then the thing is just hovering a little bit over, so this shouldn't be too difficult to clone also. So for this part, for example, this kind of control pattern, I guess you can hard code it very quickly, so this shouldn't be difficult in my opinion. And one of the neat things is, for example, if you see the background, which I did already, so this is the interesting part here, the kind of the color will flash once, for example, you're hitting an enemy. So here, let's go, and I got them both. Sweet. So this is definitely working. Here we go, and then here we are entering another area. So what you're seeing right now is screen shake. Should be easy. I did a video on this one too. So basically what you're seeing here, this system, that system, easy peasy stuff. And the only thing which is kind of preventing you to go from out the levels is, first of all, those walls and some things which are defined as walls also. So for example, these guys are walls. So here, for example, this could be considered a wall, but here it is, it is actually, it is. Okay, so basically here walls, and then furniture and so on are also obstacles. So therefore you need to be a little bit careful. You cannot put in too many things on the screen, because you want it to be, let's say, good for traversing and going on. Of course, one of the other things are those doors, which are being extra used as a knife. Can I take the knife? I cannot take the knife. That's too bad. As you can see, you can actually do some funky stuff with the door. Oh, I'm not sure what. So what you're seeing here, and another thing which is kind of interesting, you have this kind of scan line effect. For example, if you see this is not completely white, from time to time you see some grayish lines. If you watch this video, for example, on a high resolution, this is coming from the good old CR TVs. So here they are kind of using good old CR TV emulation, because I guess the game doesn't have that, but because you do this, the game looks graphically a little bit nicer. And of course, what we can do is even make it more nicer. For example, we can actually put in some bloom, so this game could even look really nicer, so with a shader on the application surface. But then it would lose a little bit of its sharpness, but then the glows would really pop and look beautiful. So here, this could be an upgrade for 2020. Hey, let's make the game even more nicer than it already is. And one last thing, I guess, what we could say, basically the storyline should be kind of obvious from the start. So basically you are a hired gun, you go in, eliminate the target and grab some stuff and go out and try to, well, and you are kind of forced to eliminate the enemies, because here, as you can see, I cannot go out because this door, this thing, what? Yeah, yes, no, is it? No. Not sure what's happening here. Okay, I guess now it's good, and now we can go out, and here basically you drive off and on, and this is how the story is being told. So like this, it's not too special in my opinion, but of course the very first cutscene was kind of intriguing with the horse and the chicken and so on, and therefore I really like how they started it. So this, I guess, will keep me on going from playing. I just bought the game, I don't know, a few hours ago, so please don't ask me about this. I have no idea. But the interesting part is the way everything is designed. The color code is giving a very stylistic, once again stylish, even though a little bit hypnotic way how this thing is presented, and the music is giving, let's say, 60 to 70% of the atmosphere, which is a lot. So here, once again, they got some awards from that, and I guess one of the guys who contributed to that is Perturbator from France, I guess from Paris, and then he's doing some cyberpunk or cyber style music, which you hear in Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Running Man, or even Terminator. So for example, if you want to hear one of his songs, it is, what is it, Perturbator, Technoir. I guess this is the one. I guess just, I don't know, Google Perturbator and Terminator, and then you will find a video here. And then the last thing which I'm going to show you, so let's say you have another cutscene, and then, I don't know, you are dealing with this guy, here we go. This didn't look too good, so therefore what you will be seeing now is one of the UI elements, which is very nicely done. So come on, I need to go out. Let's do this fast. Here we go. And then you get this end result scene, which is kind of interesting also. So once again, they are using the fonts to wiggle a little bit, so this is looking pretty cool. Of course, the background which we can emulate, this shouldn't be too difficult. So 2 black bars, one at the bottom, one which has a little of a gradient, so it's not completely black, and then I guess the background could be basically just a background which repeating of those little palms, so this shouldn't be too difficult. And then we have objects which are being spawned from the left and going to the right with a different kind of speed, shouldn't be too difficult also. And then of course we will just have one object which is rotating and doing the end score and stuff. Not too difficult, a little bit of work of course, but we can clone that a little bit much. And here, this is one of the interesting parts. For example, this screen doesn't match this style which we saw before. Not sure why that is, but something is feeling off here. Not sure, I cannot really tell you why that is. This doesn't fit the overall style of the game. But hey, why not? So here, once again, hopefully you saw now a little bit of an insight what kind of systems we are building. So once again, first thing which we're going to do is the start screen. So here a little bit of shakiness, and then those palms and all that good stuff. Then the next thing which we're going to do as the second part is of course the movement. So we're going to have a kind of a mouse which is directing where you rotate. Then of course a keyboard movement which is kind of easy to pull off. Actually see if there is interesting. Did they do this? Not sure. What I'm actually just checking out, because sometimes if you press diagonal, you get double speed, and this is a thing which you normally should be avoiding. But hey, then for example what we did here, then I guess we will do the camera system as a third video. I guess this will be the order, so we can change the target, which shouldn't be too difficult. And then of course we have to do some resolution stuff, what kind of resolution which we want to have, etc. Then we will go into full screen, because I guess this is the way game should be played. Then we will repeat once again this background, which is kind of nice, but then add in additional function which will be just, hey, flash quickly if, for example, if you're hitting somebody. So here this could be the interesting part. And then we will roll out into I guess weapons, picking them up, throwing them, shooting, and all that good stuff. And then I guess we will do collision, because then this should be the next part, and then enemies, and so on and so on. And as you can see, there will be tons of videos. So here this won't be like 4 or 5 videos and I'm done, because this game isn't that easy to clone. So therefore this will be on a high level, so I expect you to know most of those functions and etc., because you wanted this advanced stuff and now you get it. So be prepared for that. Hopefully you got some insights and now understand, hey, the perspective of a player, the perspective of a developer, for example, what you could look out for, what you need to instantly recognize as a developer, or for example, what you could see as a developer, because everybody sees a different thing, but I try to see systems behind which are working, and therefore I'd like to see the good stuff and repeat it, so basically I can implement it in other games also. So what else could I say? Hey, music is very enjoyable, so the game has and is a success for a reason, because the gameplay is fast, it's hectic, it is high tension, the music is doing a very good part, and therefore you will enjoy it. And of course the storyline is kind of how can you say it? It is insane, it is very stylish, and it's confusing. Therefore I guess I will play it to get to know the game a little bit better, so to understand it more, because hey, it definitely has something going on. So that was it for today, and see you in the next video tutorial, I guess tomorrow. So have a good one. One up indie.